for the first veteran student to come in, how is that experience for them when they first come into the college? Is it, I guess, is it like, am I waiting outside like a wet dog, like knocking on the door, or am I being like presented like cookies?
I think it depends on your location. I think it depends on a lot of different factors. I will say that when Ursula started working with student veterans, and even when I came back, the majority of us were combat veterans using a GI Bill. So now we're far removed from all of that. So I would say our population now, you could have a early 40s, late 30-year-old student who is a combat vet. They served 20 years, retired, and now this is a new phase of their life. Or you could have a 22-year-old, right, who spent a few years and that's out. So our population, it's not a monolith, right? So the experience of that retiree possibly is going to be very different from the 22-year-old. Last year, we had an 81-year-old student, right, and a 17-year-old dependent. So it's so different in how they approach the institution, right? Like if they're younger, they're looking for more traditional experience. Makes sense. And if they're older, what level of engagement do they want to necessarily have, or can they have? So, we try to, we're going to create a welcoming environment. And our job actually is to create a culture of support for them on the campus. Because to Ursula's point, we might not see all of them come through our doors or engage us in the way that some students do. And so we want to make sure the campus is as welcoming as possible.
And sometimes they come to us in like a crisis situation, or like in a situation where they've run into an issue with a professor, or another office on campus, financial aid or student accounts, where there's an issue with their term bill, and it's kind of like a negative. It has, they come to us looking for assistance because they're having like a negative experience with someone else on campus. So it's not always positive. It's always, but then they come to us and they see that we do the best that we can. We don't necessarily have all the answers to their problems, but we can connect them with other offices and try to expedite whatever, issue or problem that they're having. So they do appreciate it, end up appreciating, what we do, although sometimes they might come to us like a little bit upset and, in a crisis situation, even, it could be like a financial, crisis, something about their benefits are being delayed, they can't pay their rent, or they, got into a car accident, or there's a family, health emergency. So other offices will hear right away, oh, this is a military affiliated student, go to the veterans office. So then they show up at our doorstep, like, oh, help. So we try to do our best to help them out and connect them with whatever resources. And we have we're very lucky here at Rutgers to have a lot of resources. Not all campuses and schools, throughout the country are as lucky as our school. So we don't take that for granted, and we make sure that they see that and they don't take that for granted, because some of our students some of our staff were here before this program was started and was as supported and robust as it is today. And so, we make sure that they know that, they don't take things for granted. But sometimes they do take things for granted, and you never know. Like, you have a younger student, they have no idea what the combat veterans went through, So it's a very different experience. We deal with so many different types of students, and I wanted to mention about the housing situation is a lot of our students are out-of-state students, because the benefits that they can use are, it puts them at the in-state tuition rate. So if they're using the post 9/11 GI Bill, for like as a dependent, they come here out of state, and Rutgers is a really great school, so it's one of the top choices for a lot of students, and we end up getting a lot of out of state students. Even our service members, they end up being stationed here in New Jersey at the end of their career, and they end up coming here. So a lot of times they're here and they don't have that support system because their family is all over the country. That's also a challenge, because they come here, they reach out to us because they need that new support system. They're looking for housing. They're looking for some kind of support, because they don't have that support here necessarily in New Jersey. We do have a lot of in-state students, but we do have a good amount of out-of-state students, because of the benefits allow for that, to happen. So we also deal with that, and we try to make it like a good environment for them to, come here and see that there's others that have been through a similar experience, and make their like readjustment a little bit more comfortable.
Sanctuary. It's a little oasis here for veterans. Even the culture, the culture around, so like, hey, it's not gone. Like it's in your blood now. Like this community guy.
That's kind of an interesting point too, because you also have a lot of students who, when I got out, I wanted nothing to do with, right? Like the military or other veterans. I was good, it was done, that's it. And so there were students here. We don't try to be overly military either. Like there's a space for it. And I think it's the bond culture part that like does connect our students, but because our experiences are vast, because we're coming from so different, right? Like I served in a combat engineer unit, right? When women were in combat, I'm just doing that. So, right, because I was in Iraq but I was a support role in the combat. So I served with combat engineers. We're in the same platoon I was in.
No wonder you're so cool.
They do that $20. So like my experiences though could be vastly different, right, from your experiences, even if we were in Iraq at the same time, right? So I think you do find those connections and that bond, and it's a little easy too. Again, when you know your place, your rank, all that stuff, and you get here. One of the things we try to be is a first stop shop. So we don't want to be a one stop shop, and I think a lot of places do try to do that for veterans, and I think that's a disservice because it's convenient, of course, right? People love convenience. It's very transactional in a way. And since the military, yes, did all those things where it's here, go here for this, go here for this, go here for this, that's it. And it's very confusing to be here and be like, go see financial aid. Oh, no, go see student accounting. Go to this one. And that can be frustrating. And so Ursula's point, we do see students coming at the frustrated point, right? Because it's vastly different from what they experience. But that's what the world is. That's even how the VA operates, right? And so we want to be a first stop shop that they come here first, so we can help them avoid all of those things. But then we want them to engage on campus because they're different people and we can't be everything, that they need. And I think recognizing that and being able to kind of stay in your lane, so to speak, of we're very good at knowing benefits, at helping them access those benefits, learn about different benefits or connecting them with support. But, I'm not an academic advisor. And I don't want to advise them. I want them to go to an academic advisor in their unit, in their department, or their school. So I think that's a better model because I think ultimately I don't want them just to be successful here. We want them to be successful when they leave here.
I think that you guys are the doorstep of integration for a veteran. And it's true. A lot of the things that come here, they need to process it somewhere else, and you're just the guide saying, "Hey, these are the steps you have to take, but we can't do it for you. You're gonna have to do this yourself." It's part of the responsibility of being an adult.
Right.
So do it yourself.
I don't think that it was so much of a change. We've always had a reading problem. There's always been a reading problem, right? COVID did not unveil this great big reading problem. COVID unveiled the access and accessibility, right? That woke us up. But we've always had a problem in this country with reading, going back to anti-literacy laws. So I just want to preface what I'm about to say with the fact that our brains were not wired to read. We have to teach it to read, right? It does this great thing. It rewires itself, right, to form pathways for reading to develop. A lot of people don't understand that. It's very different than language. Language, you can put a child in a room full of people who are speaking and they will speak. You don't have to teach them how to, right? That is not going to happen for reading. You cannot sit someone in a room full of people who are reading, whether they're reading out loud or silently. It's not going to happen. You have to teach it to read, right? That starts very early. What we think is reading starts in kindergarten, and then we build these habits in kindergarten. And if we think that, we're 5 years already behind, right? Reading starts really at the moment of conception. How? Well, all of the stuff that mom eats, all of the environmental pressures and stress impacts the developing brain. Reading is all about the brain. The brain is the main character, right? And so if we understand that, then we have a point of reference. And so how do we build stamina, right? Because in order to learn to read and read well, you have to build stamina. I'm like, this is a race, right? Not for the quick athlete, but it's endurance.
Mm.
And it took us years, decades to get here. My book has only been out since August. It's not going to take months for us to get out. And so people have to come to the point where I came to and say, okay, I reflected. Now I see, and now I'm going to do better. When you know better, you do better.
It's time to create. I'm trying to coexist. Yeah, I'm trying to coexist. I'm trying to coexist.